Let me tell you a story, not just about food, but about how the way we think affects the way we live, and how something as everyday as what we eat can reveal deep truths about who we are, what we believe, and how we feel. A while ago, my friend Noah came to me with a question that at first glance seemed simple, but it carried a deeper weight. He asked, "Is it okay to follow my bliss when it comes to food? Like, should I eat what makes me happy, even if it's not the right thing to eat?" He wasn't asking this as a joke. Noah had been on a long journey, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. He had tried all the diets, listened to all the experts, read every blog, and watched every fitness influencer tell him what he should and shouldn't eat. But he still felt stuck. Stuck between desire and discipline, between joy and guilt, between his cravings and his conscience. And so he wondered, if following your bliss is the ultimate advice for living a fulfilling life, does that mean indulging in a cheeseburger when your heart says yes? Or does it mean forcing yourself to steam broccoli because your ego says you should? It was a genuine question. And I understood it, because I'd been there too. The illusion of bliss in disguise. Here's the thing. When most people hear "follow your bliss," they assume it means chasing what feels good in the moment. But that's not always true bliss. Sometimes it's just temporary relief from discomfort. It's escape. It's distraction. It's something to fill a space where something deeper is missing. So I told Noah, you can follow your bliss, but only once you've spent time tending to your emotional and energetic balance. Because when you're aligned, when you're emotionally clear, stable, and connected to your truest self, your bliss doesn't lead you into destruction. It leads you toward harmony. Food, feelings, and misalignment. You see, many people reach for food not because they're hungry, but because something inside feels empty or unsettled. Food becomes a substitute for comfort, validation, even love. It becomes a way to silence emotions rather than understand them. But here's where it gets powerful. If you've been working on your inner alignment, if you've learned how to direct your thoughts in a more positive way and hold a loving vision of your body and well-being, then your emotional guidance system becomes sharper. And when that happens, you start to feel a subtle discomfort when you reach for something that doesn't match that vision. You might call it guilt, regret, hesitation, or unease. But what it really is your inner wisdom trying to tell you this isn't in harmony with what you truly want. Not because the food is inherently wrong, but because the belief you hold about it clashes with the desire in your heart. The energy equation. I reminded Noah that two people can eat the exact same meal, do the same workout routine, and get completely different results. Why? Because there's more to health than calories in and calories out. There's mindset. There's belief. There's emotional energy. Your results aren't only about what you eat. They're about how you feel about what you eat. They're about whether your actions line up with your desires and whether your thoughts support or sabotage your goals. So I told him something I'd learned after years of trying to fix my habits the hard way. Get happy first, then eat. But don't eat to get happy. The turning point. Noah paused. I could see the wheels turning. But what if I'm already craving something I know isn't good for me? He asked. What if I know it's not aligned with my goals, but I still want it? That's where the inner work begins. I said, ask yourself, am I hungry or am I just tired? Am I sad? Am I lonely? Am I bored? Because if the food is a reaction to discomfort rather than an extension of joy, It's not really bliss. It's compensation. And here's the truth most people avoid. Once you've set a clear desire within yourself, say to feel strong, light, confident, or healthy, you can't act in opposition to that desire without feeling emotional resistance. You might eat the cake, but you won't enjoy it. Not really. Because your belief says, this takes me further from my goal, and your emotions reflect that contradiction. The discomfort you feel isn't punishment. It's just your inner compass saying, this isn't the path. Change the vibration, not just the behavior. This is where most people go wrong. They try to change the behavior, cutting out carbs, forcing workouts, banning sugar, without first changing the energy behind it. And so they struggle. They self-sabotage. They go through cycles of discipline and relapse, pride and shame. But when you shift the thoughts, when you realign your beliefs and your vision of yourself, something amazing happens. You begin to feel drawn toward different choices. Not because you should, but because it genuinely feels better. Your impulse changes. Your cravings change. And even more fascinating, your body starts responding differently to the same foods because your entire energetic field is in greater harmony. A new relationship with food and self. So what happened with Noah? He began doing the inner work, not just journaling or meditating, but consciously practicing alignment. He visualized the version of himself he wanted to become. He worked on releasing guilt. He stopped beating himself up after meals. And most importantly, he stopped using food as a replacement for happiness. And slowly, his relationship with food changed. Instead of asking, is this food bad? He asked, is this aligned with how I want to feel? Instead of eating in secret or shame, he began to eat mindfully and joyfully. And that made all the difference. The real bliss. So, yes, you can follow your bliss when it comes to food. But first, make sure it's true bliss, not just momentary pleasure covering emotional pain. Bliss comes when your desires and your beliefs are in harmony. When your body and your mind are working together instead of against each other. And from that space, you'll begin to realize something profound. You don't have to punish yourself to become who you want to be. You don't have to deprive yourself of joy to get results. You simply have to align your energy, and the rest will follow. Final thought. If you want to transform your health, your body, or your relationship with food, don't start with the plate. Start with the thought. Get happy first, then eat.